us. This is our third or fourth 50-minute webinar series. This one is about quick quotes from Maximo. Um, the key is we're trying to stop the convenience buy. Too many people are just buying quickly for the convenience without actually getting quotes. And what we find is that most people don't do it. It's not the actual cause that's the problem because they want to do it. It's really a symptom. They do it because getting quotes is challenging, difficult, and slow. So what we're advising is stop the convenience by addressing the key issue, which is make it easier, make it faster to do quotes, and people will actually do it. And the organization will get the benefits of more competitive pricing, better terms, better conditions. So making quotes the path of least resistance for everyday parts and services is the goal here. You need to make it as easy as one, two, three, right? Whenever someone decides as they're entering a requisition that they should get a quote, they want to get a quote, to make it very easy for them to simply select the vendors they want to request quotes for and send it out to those vendors. Secondly, you need to make it very easy for your vendors to enter their bids and respond to your request for a quote. And thirdly, you need to make the selecting the winning bidder, comparing, analyzing, and selecting the winning bidder easy and fast as possible. So what's the solution for Maximo? Well, in our opinion, it's embedding quoting right in the PR process to make it easy, intuitive, one-step process. Also to integrate vendors to that data so they can go back and forth easily, quickly, and accurately, all electronically. So data is transferred back and forth electronically without queuing, without manual data entry or re-entry, and so forth. And then automate the analysis and the wording so the computer does a lot of the legwork for you. You need to support two processes, right? Sometimes basically people just need a confirmation of the price and delivery from a single vendor. They know who they're going to buy from. They have a single source and they're prepared to just go ahead, place the order with that vendor, but they need to confirm the pricing, the availability, delivery, and so forth. In other times, they need competitive bidding. They need to make it easy to get multiple vendors to submit their bids competitively. You need to support both processes. Okay, the way this is done is basically after the PR is completed, entered, okay, you need to enhance the system to make it very easy for someone to simply request a quote. So what we do is we add a button that says create an RFQ right in the PR application. As soon as they do that, we add a couple extra tabs, RFQ tab and a bid tab. And then under the RFQ tab, we add information about the request for quote, the closing date, when you need the bid, terms, conditions, and things like that. Okay. In addition, on the bottom, we add basically terms such as the details, such as the vendors you want to quote, the terms and conditions, any attachments you may have, communication logs, and so forth. Specifically for the vendors, there's basically a list of vendors you wish to request to submit their bids. And by pressing the Add Vendor button, what we do is make it very easy to select vendors. We give you a list of the vendors, but we order that list based on the number of items they can fulfill. If this PR has 3 items, we give you the vendors that can fulfill all 3 lines at the top. And then the next the number of line items fulfilled, and so forth. So you don't search for vendors. We tell you who can supply these parts, and you select the ones that are most able to supply the parts, services you're looking for. And when this is done, that's it. You sent to vendors. We have a button, sent to vendors, and that just transfers all the information to the vendors. Now we supplement the Maximo application with a portal that's used by the vendors to interact with your data. They get an email invitation to the portal. You indicate that you have an RFQ for them. There's a link. There's a hyperlink in the email. They take the hyperlink, and that takes them to a sign-on screen. They log in, and they see your request for quote. All the details, the lines, the terms and conditions, and so forth. Okay, they can let you know they're going to bid, and then they can go into individual lines. And what they do is they can specify lots of information, such as they can put their own description in there, their catalog number in there. They can change the delivery date. They can change the quantity and so forth. But the key is you're looking for a price. At minimum, they need to enter the price. Okay, everything else is optional, but at minimum, they enter the price. As they enter the price, they go through the RFQ. The RFQ starts color coding in all red. All the lines are red. That means they haven't been addressed yet. As you address it, it turns green. And the one you're working on is in yellow, work in progress is in yellow. And as you go through the whole thing, you address all the lines, they all turn green, which means the vendor is ready to submit their bid. They press the button submit bid, and immediately the quotes come in to Maximo. So you go to the tab called bid responses, all in the PR application, okay? And you look at the vendor responses on the bottom, and you'll see the bids as soon as the vendor submits them, they come into Maximo directly. No re-entering, no mistakes and so forth. Everything comes electronically straight into your Maximo with all the details. So on the left-hand side, we see what you requested. On the right-hand side, we see what the vendor specified. And anything that they changed is highlighted in red so that you can see that they're either adding information or modifying information, suggesting something different. They could modify the delivery date. They could modify the quantity. For example, if you want 6, but they only sell boxes of 10, things like that. So the vendors can change anything they change, we highlight, make it very easy for you to look at, assess, and analyze. You go through individual bids, you select the winning bids, you select the individual. You can have from one vendor or from multiple vendors, and you can even choose not to award. If you don't like any of the submissions, you can choose not to award a line. Once you made your selections, okay, you update the PR, or instead of you doing the selection process, you can have an automated process that does this for you based on best price. Once you've done that, once you made the selections, you update the PR with this information. So this is all bid information, bids. You select the winning bids. Now you update the PR with the winning bid information. And you notify the vendors. So they get an email saying, you won or regret. And once we update the PR, okay, you go to the PR. You go back to the PR. And you notice that we have the price updated. We have the original price, so you see what it was, what you thought it was, and the current price based on the quote. We also specify the vendor, and note we put the vendor at the line level because each line could be awarded to a different vendor. And of course, don't worry, we take care of this. When we create the PO from this PR, we will create multiple POs. And then on the header of the PR, we actually specify the total costs before the bidding and after the bidding. And if there's a significant increase, this may require an approval. And of course, you can have workflow kickoff and request reapproval if necessary. Or you can manually ask for a reapproval if you so choose. Once the PO is approved, you go ahead, you create a PO. As like I said, if you have multiple vendors on the specified different lines, we will create multiple POs. Okay, all this is fully automated. Additionally, we support attachments, so both the buyer can specify the attachments to show the vendor what they want, and the vendor can have attachments to send back to the buyer to show them what they're offering. We can also have configurable vendor questions to further elaborate on the quote request from each vendor. And these questions can be configured so they can be yes or no types of questions, a date request, a number, a value list. So you can specify certain values and they choose from that list, or it can be free-form text. This is all configurable and editable and goes directly to the vendor, and the vendor chooses from one of these edited questions, validated questions. And then all communication is done via comm logs, not just simple email. Simple email can end up being orphaned. 2 years later, try to find the email that went back and forth clarifying something. Whereas comm logs, they stay with the PR for permanent record, permanent audit purposes. And vendors can confirm they intend to quote, so you know immediately that they intend to provide a quote, and then they can work on the quote and come back to you with the actual quote later. And we also do support blind bidding. So if you wish to wait till all the bids are in before you open and see and judge, you could do that as well. So the value out of this solution is automation. It's fast, it's simple. And when people realize how simple and fast this is and compare it to having to deal with the old process where they have to have lots of interaction with the buyer and the vendor for clarifications, when they have to deal with invoice price discrepancies, when they realize they're paying higher costs than they could or should and eating away at their budget, this quickly becomes the path of least resistance. And for convenience your orders will start getting better pricing, better terms, better conditions. The ones you never got quotes before, you will now get them, and you will get better pricing and terms and conditions. And for the ones that you did get quotes, okay, you will now get them faster, easier, and your delivery will happen sooner. So what does Quick Quote mean for you? Summarizing it, basically faster ordering, No more chasing quotes, no more expediting, no more calling the vendors and entering and all that stuff. Better pricing, better terms. When vendors realize you're doing this on a competitive bid basis, they will offer better terms and conditions and better prices. And it's fully transparent and auditable. All this information is maintained with the PR for everyone to see in a central database and stays with it for audit purposes. 6 months from now, you're not going to remember what emails you exchanged back and forth, but all the com logs in Maximo will stay with the PR. The bottom line is you'll be getting better prices, better terms, faster fulfillment, and saving your company money. And that's basically it. If you wish to learn more about all sorts of supply chain issues, opportunities, innovations, technologies, options available to you, we suggest you consider attending the Emerald Supply Chain Matters Conference, March 2nd to 4th in Houston, Texas. It's a Marriott Hotel near the Bush Intercontinental Airport. More details can be retrieved from this website. And that's it. 15 minutes, just under. I'm going to stop here and offer any questions. Please let me know if you have any questions, and we'll try to respond as best we can.